commissions rather than increase the commissions. 80% is the highest that I can think that they'll ever offer creators. So the only real option in this question to me would be if it's similar to like United Artists, which is a company that was founded back in the 1920s by the actors of the day, like Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford, that they came together and said, okay, we don't like the studio system. We're going to create our own. We're going to create our own studio, and we're going to, succeed that way. I think the only real way that OnlyFans would have real competition is if, say, the top 1%, maybe, 50 people are in the top 1% just bolted and started their own, company. And then that would pose a huge problem for them. But to answer, on this, the chances of someone coming along that's legitimate, unless they have hugely deep pockets and offering a higher percentage than 80%, is very unlikely. But the fact that people are willing to jump by, a 76 to 23% is very telling. And then the last question I asked was, will you still be on OnlyFans a year from now? And this was, good news for OnlyFans. 129 people participated in this, and yes won 92.2% to no at 7.8%. So 92% of people feel like they're still going to be on OnlyFans a year from now. And that's a really good sign for the site. Not necessarily the creators, but it's a good sign that people are going to stick with the site, and they also have that feeling in their gut that OnlyFans is a long-term play. We definitely went over in some of the very early episodes about, fads and, how you don't want to basically, be running with a fad. You want a trend, and people are feeling like OnlyFans is going to be a trend, not a fad. And, basically they're saying that with their time that they're going to continue to work on OnlyFans, and they're excited about that platform. So, overall, the survey had some positives and negatives for OnlyFans. It had some positives for, content creators because, as I mentioned there, that people plan on sticking with OnlyFans. And the more people who are sticking with OnlyFans, the more people who will join, and the more opportunity even for small creators to grow. And that's what's really important. You basically want a system where people can be at the bottom of the ladder and climb up to the top of the ladder. That's the entrepreneurial dream. And as I've gone over, OnlyFans offers that in spades. It definitely offers the ability. Your ability is the only thing that limits you from being able to succeed on the platform. So you want something like that, and people are continuing to go that way. What is negative to me from this survey, if I was OnlyFans, is I was saying that I'm not, building the kind of loyalty that I would like. And I'm obviously not ingratiating myself into the community as much as they could to show that they care, to show that, they're going to be putting, content creators, at the forefront of what they're doing. And the decisions they're making. As I said, the last rounds of terms of service, you could pretty much tell, it's a tightening. And it's going to be, who's appreciating who. And I would say that right now, the OnlyFans is looking for you to appreciate them more. And they're not really reciprocating that as much. And that's what I'm getting from the creator survey. As far as, what, and also lastly is that still, the majority of money that's being made is at, for the people who are making it are at the top. So there are still people, it's basically you're trying to rise to the top. The majority of people are not making a ton of money right now on OnlyFans. They're making enough money to continue to stay on the site, but that's about all. So it's definitely very telling, and it shows, a lot of positive information, a lot of kind of, muddled middle, possibly negative information, as far as how OnlyFans creators feel about the site. Okay, so that was the OnlyFans Content Creators Survey 2021. As I mentioned, you can find this survey and all the results at seobounty.com/blog, and it'll be the newest one. And if you are listening in the future, you can just go back and look at in May in the folders, and you will find this blog with all of that information in it. Okay, so let's go to the listener question of this week. All right, so a listener in Bend, Oregon asks, I had a regular on OnlyFans say that his credit card had a vendor hack, and he suspects OnlyFans of being the source. He wants me to pay using Cash App. Should I allow him to? Now, this falls into what I was just mentioning before about credit card processing. I've gone over this a lot in the podcast, but you are safest with OnlyFans. And this person stating that they suspect, OnlyFans is the reason for a hack, very, very unlikely. I mean, you can suspect that the Queen of England is responsible for your missing sock in the laundry, but that doesn't make it so. Just because OnlyFans, to them, I guess, feels unsecure because they bought possibly explicit material, so they just assume that it must be them. I would say that they're safer with OnlyFans. As I mentioned before, OnlyFans has, the credit card processor of CC Bill. I personally have spoken with people at CC Bill. These people are not playing around. Like, their goal is to make money just like everyone else's. They are not looking to bring people in who are going to scam. And so OnlyFans is paying that extra amount of money to have this great company that is making sure that everyone is secured. So it's very unlikely that that's the reason for the hack. And whenever someone sends you over to another payment system, you run, you can possibly run afoul of their rules. I've gone over this before. There is clauses in every single financial transaction business that you're going to work with that's going to say, if you are dealing in material, as I mentioned, that's 18 plus, then the person can possibly get their money back because you're not supposed to be transacting in any way. So it doesn't matter if you're on Stripe, if you're on Cash App, if you're on PayPal, there's a clause everywhere. The only place this clause isn't going to exist is over with OnlyFans or another site that is paying this additional money for processing to make sure that they have a high risk processor. The reason is not so much that someone like PayPal or Stripe is against that kind of material. It's just that it plays into high risk for the credit card company, and the credit card company doesn't want the chargeback. Because you remember, the credit card processor is working with major credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard. They're making the rules. They make the rules back to PayPal. They make the rules back to Stripe. They make the rules back because they have the control. If all of a sudden Stripe or PayPal or any of these couldn't accept Visa or MasterCard, who would deal with them? No one. No one would deal with them. So when someone is trying to take you off of OnlyFans, they're trying to take you off of probably the safest place. So you're in the playground and somebody says, hey, come check out some candy in my car. You want to stay on the playground, okay? OnlyFans is the playground, okay? That's the place that's safe. And the person who's saying, oh, let's go over here, even if it sounds legitimate, it's probably not. So if they're telling you that kind of story, it's untrue. And there's some reason that they want to go ahead and pay through Cash App. And it could just be they don't want OnlyFans to show up on their credit card statement. And that's fine, but they're not going to tell you that. And so, they are trying to move you along, but you are definitely safest with OnlyFans. Okay, so this was OnlyFans Content Creators Survey 2021. Again, I am Richard Lewis. I am the creator of OnlyFans Hero and the founder of the company SEO Bounty, which is a fan site and OnlyFans marketing company. You can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast. You can also find us on Reddit at the subreddit of r/OnlyFans Secrets, as well as we are on, of course, OnlyFans at onlyfans.com/OnlyFans Hero, where you can follow us and subscribe for free. You get the latest updates on this podcast, and I love to see you guys there. I always read all the comments we post. Whenever we do a new episode, I read the comments. I just thank you guys for, supporting the show, and I would love to see you on that account. Also, we're on TikTok at OF Secrets Podcast, as well as always being on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero, where we run now promotion every 10 minutes for OnlyFans creators. And as I mentioned last time, also have our OnlyFans podcast Twitter. You can just search OnlyFans podcast in Twitter, and we will pop up. You'll see us with the OnlyFans Secrets logo. Please follow us on there. We're also running promotion on that page as well. And, as always, I just really appreciate you listening to this podcast. If you happen to be able to jump on to Apple and leave a review, please, do so. Write a nice review and send that over to me at OnlyFans Hero or at the OnlyFans Podcast, and I will be happy to shout you out. If you leave a review, I'll tell you this, in one of the last episodes, I said that it's unlikely that anyone could have perfect 5-star reviews. I think we have 17 5-star reviews and one 1-star review on Apple. And I say, hey, you know what? Whoever left that 1-star review, I'm sorry that I upset you, but at least it adds legitimacy when you have a 4.7, rating as opposed to 5-star, because there's always somebody who's going to be unhappy. But if you leave a review on the podcast on Apple with words, send it over to me. And like I said, I'll shout out the fact that you're a listener and that you have an OnlyFans page. It would just, it always helps. It helps other people find out that the podcast itself exists. And please check out everything that I'm doing over at SEObounty.com. As I've mentioned before in the podcast, I'm working right now to build up that website to be a great resource. There's a lot of stuff coming, question and answer area, and I'm building out all the different services that we're going to be able to provide to OnlyFans creators and fan site creators overall. And so I'm working hard on that, and I would really appreciate if you check that out and check out, of course, the SEObounty.com blog. Which, I mentioned in this episode, and it has a lot of great information for OnlyFans creators. And as always, I just really appreciate you listening to this podcast. Please continue to do so. Please continue to support it. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week.